Hey there, welcome back to our Richmond Fixer Upper. Today I have such a fun project, one I've been excited about since we started this renovation, painting the kitchen cabinets. I'm doing it myself, I've got all the right tools and especially the right paint, and I am ready to go. So let me show you how we get it done. As I get ready to dive into this huge project of painting my kitchen cabinet doors, I want to just walk you through some basics of the materials and the paints that I'm using, and also the process that I'm going to use. It's going to be a multi-day process to get through all of the coats on all of the doors, and so I want to be prepared for that. The Pro Block primer from Sherwin-Williams that I'm using is oil-based, so it's going to soak right down into the wood grains really well, provide maximum adhesion and durability over the long term of this project. I love everything from the Emerald line at Sherwin-Williams. The paints are so wonderful, they're full-bodied, they go on really easily, and I'm excited to be using the Urethane Trim Enamel from the Emerald line for the first time on my cabinets. It also is oil-based. I'm going to do 2 coats of that to just really give my cabinets a strong, durable, hard, washable finish, which is all so important in a kitchen. Other materials that you're gonna want as you get ready to paint your kitchen cabinets are a full body, really awesome painting suit if you don't wanna get your clothes dirty. You're also gonna want some gloves so you keep your hands clean, a mask to keep those fumes and paint at bay in your system. I love painting in a hat. I also love to have a fine sanding block on hand to sand in between coats of paint. I also am going to use a tack cloth to just get all of that dust off in between layers as I get ready to do 3 coats, a primer coat and 2 full enamel coats on all of my cabinets. You can see right here that my kitchen isn't quite ready to be put back together, but the cabinets have arrived and the cabinet doors that we ordered custom from Semi Handmade. We got the DIY shaker style, which comes as just raw prepped wood, ready for priming and painting, and they are going to be beautiful. We chose the most beautiful shade of green from Sherwin-Williams. It's called Alexandrite. It's 0060 if you're looking at their color palette. It's a vintage color, and I love it. It's just a little touch of blue in this really beautiful green, and I think that it's gonna just add such a warm, interesting design dimension to this kitchen that will otherwise be mostly white and wood. To get started painting my cabinet fronts, what I needed was to set up an area where I would have room and also be able to cover everything to paint appropriately. So because it's cold outside, it's still winter here, I couldn't do it outside. We don't have a garage anymore, so I couldn't do it in the garage. So I decided to transform one of the bedrooms in this renovation house into a painting cave. Let me take you back there and I'll show you where I'm going to be working today. Ta-da! This is the bedroom. I've covered all of the walls with plastic. The floor is covered with paper and with drop cloth. And then I've set up a spray shelter that I can use to make sure that all of my sprays stay right in here. I'm making sure I have okay ventilation in here by putting a fan in the window that is blowing the air out of the room. If you are refinishing your own cabinets and they are some other type of paint or stain already, then you're gonna need to prep them down so they're ready to be primed and painted, just like my raw wood is. So that involves some sanding, maybe some stripping. You'll be able to figure out how to make that happen through other videos, I'm sure. I'm gonna start right here where I'm ready to prime. So I've got a sanded, clean surface ready to prime. I'm gonna be painting my cabinet satin, and I'm starting with this Extreme Block Stain Blocking Primer Sealer. It's an oil-based primer that will help just make my cabinet faces perfectly smooth and ready for the paint to stick really well to them. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you probably know that I'm a spray gun fan. So I'm gonna be using my HomeRite Finish Max Super that I always use for spraying to spray these cabinets. Something that I love about it is that I can use the paint straight out of the can, so I don't have to thin down this beautiful, really wonderful quality Sherwin-Williams paint when I'm doing it. I can just pour it straight into the canister and get spraying. If you haven't seen my video about how I use that for painting walls, that I'll link to it right here. Today I'm going to show you how I use it to paint cabinets. Go ahead and start on a test piece of cardboard or something that isn't your actual project. I'm just using this painted piece of foam core to make sure I get all the settings right on the sprayer. Now that I'm ready to paint on my actual cabinet doors, I'm gonna start on the backs with the primer so that I can make sure I get any kinks out as I go through the whole round of cabinets. And then once that dries, I should be ready to come back and prime all of the fronts without any issue. So because these this cabinet style that I have are these shaker style cabinets. So they have a wood ridge, piece along all of the edges to create this sort of craftsman design. It can pose a potential painting issue though to get into all of these corners. So I want to show you how I paint it so that I'm angling the sprayer in the right direction to get all of those corners all painted in, and then I come back over to do all of the flat area. So I like to keep my sprayer going one direction, so I'll do all of this edge, and then turn and do all of that edge, and then turn and do all of this edge, and then turn. I make my way around the cabinet itself. I move myself, I don't move the cabinet, I spin it, and then just make sure that it all gets done really nicely so that it's primed and ready to paint. Now everything's turning white because the primer is white. Once I get to my next step of painting actual paint color, the lower cabinets will be that beautiful Alexandrite green that I'm so excited to see, and then the tall cabinets will all be white. I'm on day 2 of priming and painting my kitchen cabinets. Yesterday I got 5 sides of all of the pieces primed with the Extreme Blocking Sherwin-Williams primer. It's an oil-based primer that I decided to go with. It dries a little bit more slowly than the latex, but it soaks in really well to the wood and just really prepares it for receiving the paint in a beautiful way. So today I'm gonna go back over and paint that 6th side so I can just finish all of the cabinets. They'll all be all the way primed so that after they're dry, I can do a light sand, wipe them clean, and begin painting tomorrow. Because priming and painting the cabinets takes a little bit of time, it's probably a 2 to 3 day process, and we have a pretty small kitchen we're working with, it's good to be mindful of a couple things as you get started. One of them is the space that you have. You need to have enough space to be able to lay out all of the pieces at once, essentially, as they need to dry. And then also to be mindful of the time that it's gonna take. The dry time on the primer is about an hour, but in order for it to really set to be able to sand it well, you probably wanna wait at least a few hours. You don't wanna be stacking things on top of each other when they're wet and not all the way cured yet. And then definitely being able to have the energy to do the painting is probably a next day type of thing. So give yourself enough time and enough space to do it really well because you want your cabinets to look beautiful. That's why you are doing this in the first place, and taking a little bit of extra time and doing it right is gonna make a big difference. I am here, day 3 of painting my cabinets. I have done my priming on both sides, some sanding, and the first coat of paint, of enamel, on 5 sides. So what I have left, today I'm gonna do the enamel on the 6th side, and then tomorrow I'm going to finish sanding and do my enamel coats on both sides. A little light sanding with a extra fine sanding block and then wiping the dust off with a tack cloth is the method that I'm using to just make sure that my primed cabinets are super smooth before I go forward with the enamel finish, and it's going really well. So they're looking smooth and shiny and great, and I'm excited to get this coat of paint on. The tall cabinets are extra white with 3 ounces of white to just give it a little bit more body. And so I am working on green right now. I'll give you a peek of how it's going. Prepping and priming and sanding and wiping and painting and painting and painting and drying and drying and drying and all of the steps, they're done. Everything is beautiful and can be installed into the kitchen, and I am so thrilled with how it looks. Choosing this really fun Alexandrite green for the lower cabinets in our kitchen was not the obvious choice, but it was definitely the right choice. I love adding a little bit of color, enthusiasm, and life to this small space. It makes such a bold impact, and I'm so happy that we went with this. Especially when paired with the really pretty white walls, white cabinets, pops of brass in the hardware, and those quartz countertops. I really could not be more thrilled with the way that it all came together. And I'm so happy to have worked with Sherwin-Williams to just bring all of my colorful kitchen dreams to life. And I know that you can do this too. Painting your kitchen cabinets with a paint sprayer with the right paint makes all the difference. We saved $1,600 choosing to do this project on our own rather than hiring it out, and the cabinets look professional. They look amazing, and I'm so happy that I attempted this project and that it all worked out beautifully. So make sure that you're here every week. On Wednesdays, we're sharing bits and pieces as we design, decorate, upgrade, and fix up this Richmond house. And I hope that you'll leave questions in the comments, give us likes and thumbs up, and make sure that you visit Sherwin-Williams to make all of your colorful paint dreams come true. See you next time.